Just waiting for you all to show up. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know when you get here. Hello, Trip on Two Wheels. I think that's who it is. I'm trying to add a thumbnail to this video right now. Kind of a thumbnail, nothing fancy. Can you hear me? Hey guys. Okay. Let's see if I can add this in here. Nope. There we go. Hey everybody. Hey Trip. Trip's the first one. Hey Sean, Hippie Trev, good morning. David, Yuka, RT Whips. Okay, good. Hello Snake, Shadow, Kevin, Mike, Adbunky. How's everybody doing? I'm having a glass of wine. Just hanging out in my garage, and everything's a mess in here right now because I was out here into the wee hours of the morning putting this Shovelhead back together. Hey Scott, Michael, Rick, Nick, Joseph, hello everybody. So I got it back together shortly after almost burning it down. I did not get that on video, unfortunately, but it might be better that way. I burnt my finger a little bit. It's like a tiny burn, but yeah. It smelled like hot dogs in here for a few minutes afterwards. Oh, good timing. Hey, Joseph. You didn't win the knuckle. Yeah, someone named Paul won it, apparently. Paul in, I don't know where. 33 Celsius. That's summertime, Trev. You're good, Shadow? That's good. How cold is it everywhere for everybody? It's getting cold here. The Yamaha mic, I have not touched it recently because the Shovelhead's been on the lift. I got back from Florida. I spent like 5 days editing videos, and then I was sick for a week with some kind of a flu cold type thingy, and I still have a bit of a cough from it. And then the Shovelhead's been on the lift, so I just spent the last couple evenings working on that. Got it back together last night, and I will be putting the Dyna on the stand after this. Oh, it's getting a little chilly for you guys too down south. Hey? Yeah, so I just got the Shovelhead back together last night, and the Dyna's going to be going on the lift next because we're going to build a stabilizer kit for it. Because anybody who has an old Dyna or has ever ridden an old Dyna or knows that they are notorious for just not being the best handling of the Harleys. Hello, Serenity Kitty. Yeah. 45 degrees Fahrenheit. I think that's like around 7 degrees Celsius, something like that. So it's getting a little cold. That's about, it's been getting like as warm as 5 degrees Celsius, so about 40 degrees Fahrenheit have been our daytime highs lately. And my Tundra, 48 in Princeton. Yeah, so you guys are kind of close to what we are for daytime temperatures. Hello, Alan. Yeah, so my Tundra, my white truck. I've been driving my Toyota, my little 4Runner lately. I've got a little 87 for it. You guys don't really see my vehicles because I don't show what I drive very often. Hello, Lamar, David, Daddy Rick. Hello. 3 degrees Celsius. Ooh, yeah, a little chilly for everybody, eh? So I put plastic on my door to keep the cold out a little bit. Oh, nice. That sounds like it's gonna be fun, RT. But my Tundra, so I've got a 2002 Toyota Tundra that I drive. I've been driving that mostly for the last couple of years, and then I've got a 1987 Toyota 4Runner, first gen, that I was my daily driver for like the last 5-6 years until I got the Tundra. Good morning, OC. And then so anyway, the Tundra is just like it's the newest vehicle I've ever owned. 2002, power windows. It has a radio. Like a tape deck, but I can plug in a Bluetooth and listen to my phone music on there. But anyways, it's like luxury compared to what I normally am driving, and it definitely compared to my 87 4Runner. So I've been driving the Tundra around, and then it was starting to make front end noises. Hello Upchuck, hello Motobomb, Buck, hello everybody. So the Tundra, the front end was starting to make noises. It was starting to sound something loose up front there, and I neglected checking it for about a month because I wasn't too worried about it. I just figured it was maybe just a ball joint starting to wear out or something, or a shock. And then I was like, hey, I gotta stop putting this off. So I decided to just like climb under, and it's so easy just to check. Anyway, I thought maybe one of my bearings was going bad too. Just like a different, like unrelated sound. So I climbed under there last week to go and look at it. They are forever trucks. It's got like 250,000 kilometers on it. It's still going hard. And same with the 4Runner. Anyway, so I climb under my Tundra to check out the front end, and both the shocks on the front, they're obviously factory. The suspension is all obviously factory. Like, shocks have never been changed. It's got like 260,000 kilometers on it. And both the shocks, where the bushings, where they mounted the bottom, the bushings are broken. Like, the mount itself is rusted and broken in half. So totally just ready to come right off the A-arm. And yeah, it's a good thing I went down there and checked, because I'd still be driving it. And that's kind of thing that, like, yeah, if that goes, then you're crashing the truck for sure. Hello, Joe. Good to see you here. Yeah. Yeah, so hello, sick bastard. Loctite. I do have Loctite. Yeah, so anyways, I ordered all new suspension for that. I also ordered myself this before I do that job, an impact wrench. And I also, but then my 4Runner, like, I wanted to drive that around for a little while, so I'll be driving that around for about a month till the insurance runs out on it. But my 4Runner it's had a little bit of an exhaust leak pretty much since I got it, but because of where it is, it's like right on the header, and it's like 2 inches from the block, and it's and it's just in like a stupid spot. It's like on the bottom of one of the pipes coming out of the block on the header, and like you can't get to it without taking the whole exhaust, like with just taking everything off. But I was looking under the hood. I was like, man, this exhaust leak's gotten really bad after I put it back on the road. And I've been driving it around, and the exhaust leak's so bad, guys. I have to drive with all my windows down. It's terrible. Man, I've never been in a position where like every one of my vehicles is like wants to kill me. But my exhaust, and so I was looking under the hood, and the exhaust, I don't think I have any exhaust hangers on that thing. And so the exhaust actually at the header, there's a huge crack now. Like, it's cracked. So I've been soaking that down with Croil. No, I didn't ride your bike, Buck, but I don't ask people if I can ride their bikes. So if I'm not offered, then I probably won't. And even if I am offered, I still might not. But I would have ridden yours. But yeah, so it's totally cracked. So I've got a bad exhaust leak. Yeah, both my vehicles basically are like not really drivable right now until I fix them, and it's getting cold out, so the warmest it's supposed to get is like 2 degrees Celsius for highs during the day, and it's supposed to keep raining for like forever. There's like no sign of sunshine. Hoopty Club? What's the Hoopty Club? So I am, oh yeah, I'm hooped. Is that what you're talking about? It's a good one. Yeah, I'm a little hooped. Unless I drive with all the windows down in my 4Runner, then I might not die of CO2 poisoning. Anyways, yeah, so I got to fix my vehicles. And my parts should be here for the Tundra on Friday. And then I will be putting this bad boy to use for the first time. I'm actually excited to undo some bolts. I'm hoping that they're a little bit seized. Yeah, it's going to be good. So I'm going to be fixing my trucks in the next couple weeks. Hello, Sean. Hello, Mike. Anyways, let's That's so true, Joe, man. Like, okay, but you know what though? These 4Runners, they're just like rock solid little sardine cans. It's like, seriously though, it sounds like I'm driving a sardine can when I'm in there, because whoever owned this thing before, they did stuff to it. They did an engine swap. So my engine's actually a 22R, where the 87 would have had the RE in it, so the fuel injected, but mine's got a carbureted engine. But my VIN on my body shows up as being diesel. So someone did an engine swap, but whoever did the engine swap just did not give a crap about anything but putting the engine in there. So there's a bunch of gauges that don't work because they're not hooked up. Hello, Bearded Drifter. Yes, you can always send me Napa Valley wine, Michael. You should be able to. Like, I've had people send me jam and stuff in the mail. Yeah, so my 4Runner, it's just been so good, and I just fix stuff when it breaks on it. But whoever did the engine swap, like, they didn't hook up a bunch of the gauges, a bunch of the wiring's not hooked up. There's they didn't put any of the insulation back in the firewall. Like, my truck, this truck is literally, like, I need to get that exhaust leak fixed. And if I had $10,000 to dump into this truck right now, I would totally do that, because I love this 4Runner, but it really needs to be restored. It's got hardly any rust on it, too. I really want to get one of those Helixes. Actually, I love the old Helixes. Four-wheeler, it was more for, oh. Yeah, I'm sure that you do get it, Joe. I've seen your video. I've seen what you got going on in your garage, and your ran when parked, a little sporty there. I'm sure that you get it more than a lot of people do. Okay, I'm just gonna see what's going on in the chat. Good evening, XAN Biker. Yeah, I do need a fireplace. I'd love to have a wood stove in this garage, but there's no way to ventilate this garage. So I'm stuck with electric heat, which I do not prefer. Yeah, hey, Chris. My projects are going well. I just finished putting the Shovelhead back together last night. I was out here until the wee hours in the morning, and I almost burnt the bike down. Yeah, it was kind of stupid, but wall meet sawzall, yeah. So anyway, I've got a bunch of vehicles to work on, and I'm gonna be working on them in the cold and probably the rain, because that's just how it goes. Like, vehicles always are okay until it's cold and rainy out, and then they're suddenly not okay and need to be fixed. And my dad's doing good, Nick. He should be in the chats here soon. He was just a little busy when I was getting started. Hey, Pete. Yeah, so who's still riding to the mid-sized hours of the morning? Yeah, more like it. My dad's in the chat now. That's old ugly troll. Yeah. Mine always break on Sundays. Yeah, the day before you have to go to work, right? Like, anyway, I'm not riding. Nick, you're riding every day. Good for you. It's been raining here literally. I think we've had in the last 3 or 4 weeks a total of 3 days where it hasn't been raining. So yeah, it's been pretty lame. It's been a pretty crappy winter. It's more of a crappy winter than normal, than what we normally get in the Okanagan. Oh yeah, I bet that yeah, those hurricanes would definitely have affected the weather for a lot of people. The whole weather pattern. That kind of stuff just affects the whole weather pattern. Oh, Scott, to church today? I went to the late service at church today. Luckily, my church they went from 2 services to 3 services, so they do an 8:30, 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. services. So it's pretty easy to make it to any one. I went to the late one. Normally I go to the earliest one. So yeah, but I don't know how many of you guys are into church. I go to church on Sundays. I like going to church. It's a rare opportunity for me to actually dress nice and not be dirty. And I just enjoy church. But anyways, my church is yeah, they're pretty good. They don't actually have a building. They just meet in like a community center here, and they're growing pretty quickly. The highway is your church. Yeah. The highway is definitely a peaceful thing. When you just got you and the sound of your bike and the wind. Oh, what were you riding up, Chuck? Hey, Toxic. Yeah. Yeah, you got that right, Nick. I've also been watching like stuff on I've actually just been looking into it a little bit more because it's been in the news a bit, but stuff on the Shroud of Turin. You guys should look up some of the most recent news on that if you guys are interested in those kind of things. And I don't remember his name, but there's one guy who's he's basically his whole career has revolved around just studying that piece of history. Their local Harley dealers sold their huge building to a church. Churches don't have to pay property taxes. Yeah. I'm not sure of how much I don't know. I think that I like the way that my church does it, where they don't own a building. I don't really agree with churches owning multi-million dollars pieces of property that unless, well, and I don't know if like, I don't know, churches are supposed to be tax exempt because they're considered like, I think it's partly to do with them being considered like a charitable thing, but from what I see, there's not a whole lot of churches that are out there doing charity, unfortunately, because yeah, but I don't want to speak too much on that. I agree with oh hey John, Chris, yeah, not sure how much I agree with that stuff, but not gonna talk too much on it. You're a historian Greek, Rory. Historian geek. Greek. Are you Greek too? Hey, Ron. Hey, Warren. Hello. Are you going to put bikes outside for some fresh air and slip the big vehicles inside? My shop's not even big enough to fit my vehicles inside, Warren. And when I rented this place, I was like, oh, I can park my 4Runner in there and all my bikes. And then the garage looked much bigger when it was empty. Once I got all my bikes and my tools in here, then there was suddenly no room for my 4Runner anymore. So yeah, there's definitely no room in here. I don't know. I may be able to squeeze it in, but there's no room for the Tundra. That's for sure. So I'll just be working on the Tundra in the cold outside. It's okay. Maybe I'll get myself a heated vest before I have to dig into that one. Yes, Lamar, you figured it out. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, sick bastard. Yeah, Tommy, hey. It was pretty cool. So the Dyna, where is it? Right there. There. Dyna's gonna be the next thing going on the lift. And I'm gonna put a stabilizer kit in it. So you can actually buy stabilizer kits for those. Hello, Cord. And so what the stabilizer kit does is it kind of, you know what? I don't even, well, if you know what the Dyna chassis is like, so your swing arm is actually mounted off of your transmission on the Dynas. I don't know how long they did it for like that, or I think they changed it at some point in the early 2000s. So the swing arm's mounted on the transmission, and then the whole alignment, so your swing arm is mounted like on your transmission like this, so your transmission's here and your swing arm back here, and then your transmission is mounted to your engine. It's like solid, it's like kind of all like one piece. And then your whole alignment, you got like a Heim joint underneath your gas tank at the top motor mount. So that whole alignment is done with that Heim joint. So that Heim joint wears out. Like it's just so stupid. Like the whole thing about it is stupid, and I absolutely do not understand why Harley did it that way. But it's just ridiculous. And if you guys are familiar with the Dynas, or maybe you've heard of people talking about like the Dyna wobble, and it's definitely a thing at like high speed, like going a $140 around a corner, and it gets a little sketchy. And it doesn't even have to be that much of a corner, just like a curve on the highway. And I mean, $140 kilometers, not miles. But yeah. So I'm going to put a stabilizer kit in there. My dad and I are going to make one. You can buy them, but my dad was looking at them online, and it's much cheaper for us to make one. And he's pretty sure it'll be pretty easy to make. So that's going to actually rigid mount the swing arm to like, so things aren't going to be able to move around back there the way that they do. Yeah, the death wobble. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm pretty excited about it. My dad thinks that after the stabilizer kit in, I won't be so, I won't be obsessing over getting an FXR, which I definitely am not going to have the money for anytime soon if I want to work on any of the other 7 projects I have in my garage. So hopefully the stabilizer kit I think it'll make the thing ride a whole lot better. But hopefully it takes away my lust for an FXR, but I don't think it will, because I just like the FXRs. I just like them better. I like the chassis. I just like the way they look. I like their narrow look of them. I like their narrow little tanks, the narrow glide front end, and I've never been a fan of the wide glides. They're super chunky and ugly to me. But I honestly don't care what my Dyna looks like, because it's just my get around. Like as long as it gets me from A to B, like that's really what I care about on that thing. My Shovelhead's my cool bike, and I can build some other cool bikes out of these Sportsters that I have. So my Dyna can be ugly. It doesn't need to be all cute, pretty or whatever, right? And there's a lot of people, I think the dents in my gas tank bug other people more than they bug me, because I don't really care about the dents in my gas tank on that thing. And I don't care that it's trim clad black. And I don't care that the paint's crap on it. I just want it to be a good solid A to B. Maybe ride it across the country sometime soon. Hello, Robert. You missed my old Kickstart videos? Yeah, I don't even have oil in my Shovelhead right now. Oh, yeah. That's great. You could set it as your ringtone, download the sound, maybe. Maybe I should produce a Kickstart ringtone for my people. Yeah, I don't even have oil. I drained the oil out of my Shovelhead this time around because half of it had leaked down into the crankcase already, and I'm just not into that anymore. And it's just yeah, I just didn't want to be dealing with that, so I drained the oil out of my Shovelhead, so it's just sitting there. Yeah, like why would they do that, Tommy? Did they not rubber, like did they wait till 04 to rubber mount the Sportster? I thought they were rubber mounted before that. Lane splitter, yeah. We're not allowed to lane split here, but I guess you're not allowed to lane split a lot of places. But I still, if the occasion calls for it, I've been known to split some lanes for a few kilometers at a time. Hey man, what am I gonna? I'm not gonna sit in traffic and let my bike overheat. But the thing is like people, I don't know what people are like down in the States, I guess. People here, if they see you lane splitting, I had to lane split a bridge one time because my Shovelhead had just been rebuilt and it was like hot. It was so hot. It was summer. It was like way too hot to be sitting in traffic on an old air-cooled anything, especially a Shovelhead that's just had a fresh top end job on it. So I'm like sitting in traffic. We're like not moving at all. And it's like backed up for like 3 kilometers or more. And I was just like, this is steep. So I just was like, yeah, I'm just going to lane split. And I was being polite about it. I wasn't like blasting past people or anything like that. And some guy like saw me coming, tries to like cut me off, like just to stop me in my tracks in the middle of like on this bridge. And yeah, and I just don't get people like that, you know? They're just like have an attitude that you're able to pass them. It's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm not affecting your day at all, other than the fact that you're a jerk and you like to control. Maybe you should have been a cop if you're that obsessed with controlling what people do. Yeah, Bob, I think one day I will get an FXR. That's kind of my plan. I was hoping that maybe if I found like an FXR chassis, I could pop my Evo in it, but then I would need they have like a whole different, I was looking at them and I didn't realize this before, but the whole primary and everything is different on them. So I guess that's not really something I can do anymore. But my Dyna engine has, I just rolled over like 10,000 kilometers on that motor this year. It only had like 6,400 kilometers on it when I bought it, or when I put it on the road like the year before last or something. Oh, hey, Sandy. Hey, kids. Oh, I miss you guys too. Too bad we can't all get together for Christmas, but yeah, miss you kids. Maybe I'll be able to fly out there and see you all sometime soon. But no promises. I don't remember what I was saying. Something about my FXR, my dreams of having an FXR. But in all reality, you know what? yeah, an FXR is definitely like at the very top of the list for next bike. But I would love to have a dual sport also. Like I really want a dual sport. I really want something like not a fancy dual sport. I want something that I don't feel bad about crashing. And then I want to get some good gears so that I can crash and not get too hurt. I just have like an urge to go crash into some bushes on a dual sport. Do I have any plans to be a mother? I would like to have more than my bikes in my life at some point, but that's not really something that I have absolute control over, unfortunately. Yeah, you do need to lane split, right? Hello, Ed. Yeah, I will look at that, Tommy. I didn't think about that. The FXRs are round mounted. Yeah, so that's why the Dyna is so stupid. Like, seriously, like, who would even think that would... Obviously, Harley thought that would a practical way of mounting a motor. Yeah, the Dyna, like, I don't like the way that it is. I really can't wait to put a stabilizer kit in there. Rick, my mom used to tell me I was apparently I used to ask my mom if I was a good angel or a bad angel. She told me it depended. Yeah, I think California is the only place where it's actually legal to lane split. Yeah. I don't get people like that, actually, Bruce. Like, people in traffic, like, I've had that happen to me where people just, I don't get it. Like, they just don't like bike riders. And they'll just, like, they make it obvious. Make it obvious. I think they're jealous. But those are the people I like to pass and downshift right next to their open window. Here you go. You want to be a jerk? I can be a jerk back. Your FXR will be available in a year or two. Well, keep me in mind, Bob, and I will try to start my FXR fund now. But it's a little hard when things keep breaking down. Yeah, so I don't know who watched my last video of me taking apart the Shovelhead primary, the primary side on my dad's Shovelhead, to replace or to put a gasket in behind the main seal. People hate bikers because they're jealous. That's what I think. We're having more fun than them, and they can tell. They just have to go to work or something. I don't know. But yeah, so in my last video I put out, I was taking apart the primary on this thing behind me. I was up until, like, it was stupid. I'm like, everything, it's such an easy job. It's like a 2-hour job. So anyway, I put the transmission together last year, and it was my first tranny rebuild. And it didn't say anything. I didn't know if I was supposed to put a cork gasket behind the main seal or not, because some of them you do and some of them you don't. And my manual didn't really say anything. And by the way, Sandy, okay, I gotta stay on track. Anyways, so some of them you do, some of them you don't. So I didn't put a cork gasket in because it looked like there was oil passages and that I shouldn't block them off. So anyways, put the whole thing back together. Bike, I don't know, every time the bike's been started, it hasn't even been ridden yet. Every time it's been started, it was just puking oil out the main seal. So it like literally like drained the entire transmission the first 2 times it was started. So obviously that had to be fixed. So I took it all apart. And anyone who's familiar with them, you know, to get your clutch off, because you got your push rod, your clutch push rod, that comes from the kicker side through to the clutch. So to get that push rod out, normally you got to take your kicker cover off and you pull it all out that side, because you have your oil slinger and your throwout bearing on that side. You can't pull it out this side. But if I would have had a deep enough socket, which I'm going to make a deeper main sprocket socket for this, if I would have had a deeper socket, I would have been able to figure out how to get my clutch off without having to take the push rod out. But I had to take my push rod out. And to get my kicker cover off, I have to disassemble like so much of the bike on the other side. I have to take the pipes off, like would have had to replace a bunch of gaskets. It would have just been stupid. Like there's a bunch of stuff mounted to the mounts that hold the pipe. Yeah, so it would have been dumb. So I was like, I'm going to try, my dad actually suggested just trying to take the oil slinger and the throwout bearing off through the fill hole on the kicker cover. So I did that, and it actually came apart pretty easily. And then last night, putting everything back together, I was going to put the only thing you had to worry about, like everything I was able to get out with a magnet. Actually, a bunch of it was too big to actually fit out, but there was just one brass bushing that is obviously not magnetic. So trying to put everything back together yesterday at like 2 a.m, and I was so tired. My little brass bushing that goes in the center of the throwout bearing, I was holding on to that with like these stupid screwed up needle nose pliers that are like crooked. Anyway, I like go to put it on to the end of the push rod, and then it just flings out, like shoots out of the pliers into oblivion in the kicker cover somewhere. So then I'm like in there trying to fish around and get the oil slinger and all the pieces for the throwout bearing out of the way while I use like a little metal hook and like fish around for like an hour trying to get, oh my gosh, trying to get this freaking brass bushing out of there. And while I was doing that, this is how I almost burnt the bike down. So while I was doing that, my battery's over there, and I've got like a cutoff switch for the starter in case the starter gets hung up and it starts to just wind out. So I'm like, while I'm fishing around in there with this piece of wire, the way I was holding it in my hand, it twisted in my fingers, and then it shorted out. It shorted out on one of like the posts on this switch that goes to the battery, and it shorted out so good, guys. Like it was like the most craziest, yeah. Anyways, huge spark. The wire was immediately red hot. It was still in the oil in the kicker cover. Immediately red hot, as though it had been like heated up with a torch, and it stayed red hot for a few seconds afterwards. Burnt my finger and burnt a hole in my glove. Luckily, the wire just touched my finger, so it didn't, like, it burnt it pretty bad. It was cooked. Like, looking at it, it was cooked, and then it smelled like hot dogs in here for like 20 minutes afterwards, and that makes it so I never want to eat hot dogs again. But yeah, anyway, so that was fun, and I got it all back together, and it worked pretty good. Actually, it worked great. Other than dropping that brass bushing in there, everything was great. And other than all of the other things that should have been a lot quicker than they were, that ended up not being very quick. But the avoiding having to take apart half the motorcycle thing worked out. And yeah, it turned on its own check engine light. You got that right, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good though. But I think that my kicker cover's aftermarket. So my kicker cover or my dad's kicker cover, it's not my bike. The kicker cover on my dad's Shovelhead has, so it's got the fill hole on the top, like every 4-speed kicker cover. And then it also has like a little sight hole for the full level. And I don't actually think, like, maybe one of you guys, I don't know, Joe, like someone else who knows more about older Harleys than me, but from what I could find, Harley never actually produced a kicker cover with like the sight hole on the side. I couldn't find any information about that, so I think that it's an aftermarket. But if I wouldn't have had that little side sight hole cover, I probably wouldn't have been able to take that all apart and put it back together without taking my kicker cover off. So, but it works pretty good, and yeah, and I didn't burn the garage down or the bike, and I only burnt a little bit of skin, mostly off my finger. It was pretty good though. Yeah, well, normally for that kind of job, you don't normally have to disconnect the battery, but when you're Angel, you should probably always disconnect the battery, because I have freaking shorted out things on batteries more than I would care to admit right now. And you know what? I went like 10 years of never doing that, ever. And then this last like year, I've done it so many times. I don't know, man. No, it won't teach me. It won't teach me. Same with almost breaking my foot in the garage. Didn't teach me to stop wearing flip-flops in the garage. Oh, I've smelled burned hair, but not in the garage yet. And I'm pretty careful with my hair, because I have caught my hair on fire before. I'm not working in the garage. Hard-headed a little bit. But it's not my fault, because God made me a redhead. And lately, I've been into this dark chocolate. I remember being a kid and thinking how disgusting well, it's dairy or Cadbury dark chocolate, so it's not like the most dark chocolate. But I remember being a kid and thinking how disgusting, and who would even want to eat dark chocolate. And now it's kind of a thing. But I'm excited to use this thing. I don't know why I didn't buy one of these a long time ago. Dad, I don't remember you asking me that. Did I disconnect the battery? Oh yeah, actually I do remember you asking me that. Well, I wasn't working on that side at the time, but it'll probably teach me to disconnect the battery, because I probably won't be more careful. But even though I will be more careful, but sometimes being careful doesn't work and things happen anyways. Can you call me somehow, Sandy? Why, do you have another story to tell me? Are you drunk again? My phone's here, but I don't have my little portable charging block. Am I going to round off? I'm not going to round off fasteners, I don't think. I got this because this would have actually helped me a lot, taking my over Loctited compensating sprocket nut off a couple nights ago. Yeah, I put way too much Loctite on that thing. But I'm having to put new suspension in my truck I'm gonna have to put new suspension in my truck, because I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, I've been driving this 2002 Tundra around recently, and for the last like couple years, I took my 4Runner off the road for a little bit because I got all cozy and comfy in this old man power windows and everything truck, AC and all that. So I've been driving the Tundra around for a couple years. Okay, Sandy, call me in like 10 minutes. And then my Tundra started making front end noises. And it was just like, it was super rattly. So, well, not super rattly. It sounded like kind of like a loose, like, I don't know, like one of the ball joints was wearing out. It's what it sounded like to me, but I just neglected climbing under there to check it out. And then I did check it out. Hello, 24. And like last week, I climbed under and finally checked it out. And I was looking at my shocks, and both the shocks in the front, they're obviously like from the factory, like they've been on the truck since day one. And both them at the bottoms where they mount to the A-arms, where the bushings are, both of them are cracked, like cracked in half and like ready to fall out, like ready to throw me into the ditch at any moment. So I have to replace all my suspension because the back's no good too. And that is why I went and bought this right now, because I'm going to be doing that like in the cold and probably rain. And I do not want to be under there fighting seized bolts with a wrench and trying to catch with my legs and get bolts undone. So this, I'm pretty excited. I'm hoping that I've got some seized bolts now. I want to use that thing. Batteries are convenient. I have a air compressor, but I need to put a moisture trap on it. But I don't want to use, you know what? Like air tools are nice because they're powerful and whatnot, but I don't like how I don't like having like a hose to drag around. I think that's a pain in the butt, having a hose to drag around the whole time. So battery powered tools are nice and rigid. I don't know. I don't think you guys have Home Depot air tools kind of suck in my opinion. But I don't know if you guys do Home Depot in the States, but I think this is a Home Depot brand, but rigid, for anyone who's in Canada, is a lifetime warranty. So if you register your tool online, you get lifetime free battery replacements and lifetime service on your tool. So that's why I went with this one. I don't know. I think I like free stuff and I like lifetime warranties on tools. Oh, all rigid, yeah. So if you buy it new and if you register it online within 90 days of your purchase, then you get free repair. It's lifetime warranty. It's like Mastercraft at Canadian Tire. We have Canadian Tire in Canada. Oh, based in Atlanta? Oh, really? I didn't know that. And hi, Chip. Yeah, so it's like Mastercraft at Canadian Tire here. Mastercraft is Canadian Tire's own brand of tools, but they're lifetime warranty too. So if you have a ratchet and it stops working and, you just bring it in there. It says Master, you don't need a receipt or anything. It says Master. It's like the Snap-on. It's like the cheap Snap-on tools. Rigid makes good stuff. Yeah, see, so Joe, I was trying to, because I don't have a whole lot of power tools. And then I've got some free stuff that was given to me, some DeWalt, but I was looking into power tools and everyone's always like Milwaukee is the best. So I was trying to actually Google and find out is it the best or is it just overpriced and overrated? Yeah, so I was looking it up, and apparently Rigid and Milwaukee are licensed by the same company, but Rigid is made in the USA and Milwaukee's made in Hong Kong. So, and Milwaukee's not lifetime warranted. You need a long breaker bar. How do you know, Bob? I need a long breaker bar for most work that I do, especially laying under a vehicle. Well, if I'm laying down underneath a vehicle, as long as like that, my Forerunner stays because it's high enough. I don't have to jack it up to get under there and do stuff. But last time I was doing I replaced my CV axles on my Forerunner like a couple of years ago, and trying to get those off of there, man. I'm like under there, laying on the ground, and not strong enough to turn the whatever I was using to try to undo these bolts. So I'm like climbing around under there like a monkey, like trying to kick the wrench with my foot. Like my legs are strong enough to move a wrench when it was a seized bolt, but then the wrench just keeps falling off. And I was like, literally, I should have taken a picture of myself because I was literally head to toe. It was summertime, so I was in shorts, head to toe. I was in shorts and flip-flops, and literally there wasn't a spot on me that did not have grease, like covered in grease and dirt, crawling around. And actually, I don't mind doing that stuff. It's fun when it's the summertime and you're not cold. And you can do it in the shade or in the evening. Even in the Great White North. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a pain in the butt. I feel like having air hoses to drag around. Maybe if my shop was bigger, it wouldn't be that much of a pain in the butt. But I like just having like this. I can run down to the bottom of my driveway with that if I need to. No troubles. Hello, Patrick. LJ. Oh, hello. And hello, LJ. And thanks, Dusty, for passing on the paraphernalia. Yeah. 500 foot-pound torque on the... That's crazy. How do you even do that up, man? Yeah, I've had to use what also works if you've got like a little jack, like just a little car jack. If you have a bolt that's too tight, I've done this with car lug nuts before. My brother and I actually did this on my Forerunner when I first got it because they were torqued way tighter than they needed to be. But if you've got like a car jack and a breaker bar, if you can't undo your lug nuts, then you just jack up the end of the breaker bar and it actually works really good. So I've used that trick a few times. 8-foot cheater pipe. Oh yeah. Some people do stuff up so tight too. Like some people's torque specs are as tight as I can get it. And as tight as some, like it's called what, using your idiot strength. I think that LJ works. I think they know each other from the mine, Sandy. Hey Ray, I'm good. Yeah, but so anyway, I put the short out of me trying to get my compensating sprocket nut off, and I'm using a hammer on the end of my breaker bar. And I've got so many every time I put a video out like that, especially on Instagram, you get so many comments of people telling you how you should be doing it. And a bunch of people were telling me I should heat the bolt up, which I would have heated it up if I had a little torch, but I didn't want to get my big torches dug out and fired up to do that. And then everyone was like, you just need a cheater bar. But it wasn't the cheater bar. It's because as soon as that compensating sprocket nut was loose, it was just kind of turning everything. Like, so there's like a spring in there. So it kind of, I guess it's considered like a spring, but you've got like, I wish I could show you guys because I'm so bad at explaining this kind of stuff. But you've got like they're almost like points, and they're ramped, so it kind of turns on itself, and then it'll push over like that, and then like kind of lock back into itself. So while I was trying to turn that nut off, the trying to turn it off was just causing this all to turn. And at the very top, it would kind of get locked up on itself, but then it would skip as soon as I put more torque on it. So that's why I needed like a, whatever these are. I don't remember what it's called now. That's why I needed one of those, though. That's why I needed to use a hammer. Because so yeah, that's why. Yeah, I will love I'm so excited to use this impact gun, Ron. It's retarded. I like got this home the other day and opened it up and was trying to think of what I could undo with it, because I can't wait to try it out. Angel, say hi to if you pick it up. You get. Oh, hello. Hello, if you pick it up. I can't translate your. Actually, I might be able to translate the comment. Hello there. Yeah, no, I can't. Oh, can I? Maybe I can translate it. You always leave me the funniest comments, and I love it. Oh, yeah. Wood stove in a garage is definitely one of the most cozy things I can think of. My dream garage, guys. I'm going to tell you all about my dream. I don't talk about my dream garage very often because I don't know if it's ever going to happen. So my dream garage would be, I've always wanted a garage with a loft in it, but now I'm not sure if I want a garage with a loft in it or not. Well, like a half loft would be nice so that you still have like the railing and you can look down into the garage. But I would love to have a garage with a wood stove and I want a garage big enough that I can actually have like a hangout area in my garage, because sometimes I like to just sit in my garage even if I'm not working. And just like a loft so you can actually like look down at everything. And yeah, I don't know. I've got ideas in my head for my dream garage, but no way of making it happen right now. Yes, a mezzanine bug. I'm not versed in the whatever that kind of language is. Barn dominion. Yeah. If I have a refrigerator full of beer in my garage, I don't drink beer really. I do like this peach. I kind of like peach ale sometimes, but sometimes if I'm having a pizza, like good pizza, I'll have a little beer. But I like wine. I don't drink it very much to begin with. Not like I won't hang out and drink or anything like that by myself. If I'm out, then I'm more likely. Okay, so my brother wants to call and tell me a story. Sandy, let's let the chat vote. You guys know my brother, the Jesse Ventura impersonator. You guys saw my episode with me drinking with him, mushroom moonshine, and he was ridiculous. Yeah, LJ, totally. We will totally have to get Dust Bag out. LJ, did Dusty tell you that he's getting a Shovelhead? That this bike on the lift behind me is actually going to him as soon as I do the shakedown ride on it? Sandy, you can call me whenever you want. Sandy has a story. My brother, Sandy. You know what's funny? Okay, so my one brother, Sandy, And wouldn't it be fun if I just did call-ins on my show, on my channel, like different people? Anyway, I've got my two older brothers are Dusty and Sandy. And back in the day in the town, yeah, Joe, mushroom moonshine. You know what? Next time I come to Forgotten Angels, I'm gonna bring a bottle. Why didn't I think about that this time? What's wrong with me? Okay, next time, mushroom moonshine on me. On the Canadian. Okay, Sandy. Sandy's gonna call. Anyway, Dusty and Sandy, my two older brothers, were called the Dirt Brothers back in the day in the small town we lived in, where we owned a toy shop. Yeah, Joe, you remember because I might not remember, but I might remember. Okay, Sandy's calling me. Let's see what Sandy has to say. He has a story. Hey, did you crash your bike?
No. I didn't crash it.
Well, frick, man. I thought you had a story to tell.
Are you dead? Did you die on a Harley?
You said you had a story to tell.
Okay. So, yeah, no, I have my bike parked because suddenly it's like minus 15 here and like 10 inches of snow.
Oh.
So, yeah, so it was like pretty sad. Like I've been cleaning out and organizing the garage. Asher's been helping with that. He's been a really good help. And, yeah, like last weekend it was like +7 or 8 or something and sunny and like warm. And had so much crap to do in the garage. I finally, like, toward the end of the day, I swapped out this timing sensor in behind my timing cover because the original one was like, it looked like a melted Werther's. And it's just been running like crap, starting like crap, right? And so I like fire it up. I had to push it into the garage to finish the job because it was getting dark. And I fire it up. I'm like, well, I just want to see if it runs. And, well, actually, speaking of which, like a few days before that, I went home at lunch from work, right? And it's like probably a 10 or 15 minute drive on the highway doing like 60 miles an hour to get from home to work. Mm-hmm. So I go home, I'm like, change out the timing thing or whatever. No, that happened after. What am I talking about?
Man, Sandy, drink a little more. Freaking why don't you?
Okay, so the first time, okay? So last time I actually rode the bike to work, it was like, I think 3 degrees out.
Oh, really? So you went for a
which is fine if you're around town, but as soon as you get up to 60 miles an hour, it's like 3 degrees is like 35 degrees Fahrenheit.
I dare you to go for a ride in this temperature.
So it's pretty freaking cold. So that was the last time I rode it to work. I'm like riding home in the dark that night, just freezing. And then last weekend, I switch out the timing sensor and it fires right up, right? Just like runs a lot better. Like, okay, so I'll take it out for a rip. So it's like getting dark by then. Mm-hmm. I think it was -3. So that's like, I think about 29 or 30 Fahrenheit, something like that. And just freezing. I like almost got frostbite on my fingers and thumbs.
Oh my gosh, don't you have gloves?
It was so miserable. Man. And then I parked the bike. I'm like, I guess it's done. Guess I'm done for the season. And it felt like a funeral.
You could have.
Oh, like it was a funeral.
It is like a
my
funeral.
Bike for the winter. So now it's just parked in the garage, and I want to tear it down and lower it. I want to lower the back end because I hate how there's like 2.5 inches of suspension travel, but 6 inches of fender clearance. It just looks stupid.
So stupid. Right? Yeah.
So, but the problem is the 84 to 88 Softails, they have these short bodied shocks, and you cannot get them anymore.
Joe the Mountain Jedi says.
So if you put the later ones in, you can lower it 2 inches. But then apparently the later ones, they have a longer body, so they'll actually hit your transmission mount. So somehow I'm going to figure out how to do it and get it done over the winter. So that's like basically what I've been up to lately. But anyway, this customer of mine that comes into my work all the time, this guy named Ford, he's a really cool dude, right? He's comes in and just BS's for indefinite periods of time. And so I give him one of your cards because he's talking about how much he misses his Shovelhead that he had, right? And like, oh, my sister's got a Shovelhead. She has a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. So he like parks himself at my counter and we're just yapping about bikes for like 45 minutes. And then he's like, I have something for you next time I'm in. So he comes back next time, like a week or two later or whatever it is. And he gives me this envelope, this manila envelope, right? And so inside are two things, two sheaves of paper. One is the ad that he wrote for his Shovelhead.
Oh, no.
And it is pages long. It is so well written, though. I'm not going to share that one, but the other one is this, because he went home after I gave him your card. He goes home, and then he's in the store the next time. And he's like, man, I watched your sister's video when she was kickstarting your dad's Shovelhead. And he's like, I thought of this thing right away. He hands me this freaking thing that's all written up. And written in his handwriting on the top, it says, Red Rider starting dad's old bike for first time on YouTube, right? And then it's this thing. And I told him, I said, next time Angel has a live stream, I'm going to phone in, because he's like, oh, did you read that thing? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's hilarious. It's like so accurate. It reminds me of the first time Angel started her stroker, right? And like your main Shovelhead. And so he's like, oh, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to not only like show it to her, I'm going to call in next time she's having a live stream, and like, so all of her subs that are watching can hear this too, right? And so he didn't write this. He found it somewhere, but anyway, I'll read it here. It's a couple pages, right? But it's pretty funny. So it says, Shovelhead kickstart. This may help you. Kickstarting a Harley. Walk to the bike, fingers crossed, say a prayer. Ensure all the normal leaks are present. Look for tranny seal oil spot on the ground to ensure it has fluid. Turn on the choke. Kick the bike over a few times with the switch off to get it primed. Spin it through until you get compression. Turn the switch on. Kick until you have to wipe the snot from your face. Take a break to catch your breath. Count the number of people who gathered around. Try to look like this is standard procedure. Realize you are now in middle of the street. Roll the bike back into driveway. That explains the horns blowing. Try to act as if you don't notice the crowd snickering. Think, must be flooded. Turn off the choke. Hold the throttle wide open. Kick, kick, kick. Notice new paint spots on the tank and realize your nose is bleeding. Wipe the tears, snot, sweat, nosebleed combo from your face. Cuss. Kick some more. Cuss. Ignore the old man who says, you know, back in the day. Kick until you hear horns blowing again. Cuss. Don't even wipe. Just swallow the combo. Check the points. Turn on the choke. Hold the throttle wide the F open. Kick until the neighbor's wife says, you don't look so good. Wipe, swallow, cuss, check the plugs, turn off the choke. Notice you never turned the gas on. Cuss. Turn gas on. Turn choke on. Prime engine. Threaten motorcycle. Kick. Pick yourself up from the ground in front of the motorcycle. Put out the fire in the air cleaner. Remember to retard the timing this go around. Turn on the ignition. Kick. Engine starts. Dies. Swallow. Kick. Success. Check gas and tank. Realize there's only about a quart, meaning you'll have to go through this again in about 10 minutes. Straddle bike. Look both ways for traffic. realized you were in the middle of the street again. Right away thinking, screw those electric start pansies. I'm the real deal.
That's so good. He just wrote that after watching my Kickstart. Me trying to
So he found this, right? But he thought of it right away as soon as he saw that little short video that you put up of kicking the Shovelhead dad's bike, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, that's for Ford. I told him I'd read it to your watchers.
Yeah.
So
that is pretty freaking funny, man. That's so true too. Like, so accurate. My gosh. Like, so ridiculous. Dustbag is lucky, LT or LJ. Dusty's watching Christmas
movies. That's cool.
Yeah, Dusty is lucky that his Shovelhead has an electric start. I kickstarted it. I've had so many comments on that video about, like, man, that's like one of the most annoying comments I get is people telling me to put an electric start on my bike. Like, it seriously is so, it irritates me so much. And it probably didn't used to bother me that much, but hearing like people saying that is just like one of the most annoying things. And then people are like saying that on that Kickstart video of me kicking Dad's bike. And there's so many comments, just put an electric start on it. And it's like, hey, well, if you looked a little closer, you would see that it has an electric start, first of all. And secondly, I'm kicking it because I want to. Like, I want to see what it's like to kickstart, because my Shovelhead's the only Shovelhead I've only kickstarted, and I got it figured out. And I want to figure out the sequence for this one too, because I'm going to be riding it, and why not figure out how to start it? And then I can laugh at Dusty when he's trying to figure out, be like, yeah, I already know how to start it, and I'm not telling you.
Right. I remember the first time that bike got started up, it was puking oil everywhere out of the, I think the oil check valve was stuck open or something.
Oh, yeah.
And Ed, the guy that had built the bike, like came over and he fired it up, right? Because he knew that bike. And it's dumping oil out everywhere, and I throw a pan under it because it's just like probably a couple liters of oil on the driveway all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. And we're standing there just looking at the thing sitting there running, and it's running fine. And like, look, it's a pan shovel.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Are you sure it was leaking out the breather that time?
Pretty sure.
Did you look to see where it was? Okay, well, anyways,
no, I can't remember. That was in 2015, I think I picked that thing up.
Yeah, a shovel.
Yeah, that was funny. Like, the girl that was selling it, she was like selling Shovelhead, like runs, rides, whatever. Doesn't really need anything. $5,000. I'm like, holy crap, that's a good deal. I'd just done a bunch of landscaping jobs and I had the money. I'm like, I'm going to get this bike right now. So I message her and she's like, well, the paperwork is in the previous owner's name still. Okay, well, whose name is it in, right? Or, oh, it's so-and-so. Oh, well, I happen to know him. Oh, you know him? Well, he's a jerk, and whatever. I'm not going to sell the bike to anyone who knows the previous owner.
What?
He did me wrong on the whole deal.
Oh.
And so, see ya. I'm like, shoot. Okay, well, that's stupid, right? So, and then I message her back. I'm like, okay, so you have a Harley that you're selling out of a storage locker somewhere downtown, right? And it's not in your name, and you won't sell it to anyone who knows the guy whose name it's in. Like, do you realize how hard of a time you're going to have selling this Harley? Like, you know, I'm like, you're trying to sell a Harley with dodgy paperwork, and you won't sell it to anyone who can verify that it's not stolen from the guy whose name it's in. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, you can come in 20 minutes and look at the bike.
Man, and you wouldn't find a Shovelhead.
So I bring my truck in the ramp, and I loaded it up and brought it home.
Yeah.
It was Yeah.
You wouldn't
It was
find a
pretty
Shovelhead
funny.
for that price now, and I
So-
still am just like so.
Dad's comment, man. I'm so unpracticed at doing the Ventura accent.
Okay, Sandy, you're gonna have to practice the Jesse Ventura accent from
Oh, I know.
now
Yeah.
until the next time I do a live, or else you're not allowed to call me on my lives anymore.
Yeah. I just can't get into it right now because I don't even know what his voice sounds like. I've just been
You gotta watch some
tremendously
Jesse Ventura
busy
stuff.
lately, and as you know, things are much different from last time I talked to you, and we've been winning tremendously. And thank you. Excuse me, I'm talking.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
man.
yeah. So what's
Anyway,
this
I
guy's?
could. Hey.
I was just wondering what that guy's name who sent you that thing or gave you that thing.
Ford.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
tell him to comment next time he's watching one of my
He's
videos.
probably not watching, but
Oh.
yeah, I can tell him that I did. Like I said, it was gonna. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
that's cool. Glad some people had a chuckle. I know I did.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I had. Jeez. I had a hell of a time. If you're gonna ride a Harley Davidson, you need a good lace-up boot. Can't come off your foot if you get into a rollover. High side. I've had a couple of high side close calls in all my 57 years of riding with a 1%er motorcycle club. And I can tell you, you need a good lace-up boot. These slip-on boots that all the millennials wear, these Uggs or whatever they're called, they're not going to save your feet in an accident.
I don't even think I know what Jesse Ventura sounds
I just
like.
need to practice it more.
Okay, well, you have to go practice, and then next time I do a live, maybe we'll do a live together. You can come on the screen and do your Jesse Ventura action. Yeah, we should figure out how to do that instead of call-ins.
Right. Well, yeah, it's good you have your phone like not tied up doing a live stream on because that makes it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm out.
Okay.
Good night, everyone.
Yeah. See you in the chat.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
See you guys later.
Bye. Nobody's saying bye, but okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that's my brother. And yeah, it was a pretty good story. So my brother in Alberta keeps a stack of my business cards and my stickers at the auto parts store that he works at. So people who come in there who he thinks would be interested in my channel, he gives them a card and a sticker. And so he's just out there promoting my channel. And people, yeah, it sounds like he talks to some pretty cool people. He's turned a few people onto my videos. Chip, I think that it would be fun if I could get both my brothers on a live stream, but yeah, I also don't know how that would go over for YouTube monetization and all of that, because we can get pretty ridiculous when we're all together. Randy, Dusty, and Pebbles. Sandy's my other brother's name. Sandy, the Dirt Brothers, and Pebbles. Yes. How did you know my name? Oh, Scott. Yeah. I was like, how do you know about Pebbles? Yeah, I still kind of look like it too, don't I? Yeah, my nickname when I was a little baby. Was it your parents that gave me that nickname? My dad had friends who gave me the nickname of Pebbles when I was a little baby because I was a little redhead, and my mom would do my hair up in a little pony on the top of my head. They're called the Dirt Brothers because their names were Dusty and Sandy. And it's just their nicknames that they ended up getting in the small town we lived in. And we had a toy shop, and our van, the toy store van that my brothers used to drive around, was painted up like the Scooby-Doo van. And Ron Scott. Oh, okay, well, I don't know what Scott it is. Okay, I don't know what Scott this is, or if I know him. But how does he know my old name was Pebbles? My nickname. Anyways, yeah, the Dirt Brothers. It was just, they had a toy shop back in the day, and that was just the name that they got around town, I guess. They were known as the Dirt Brothers. The Dirt Brothers. And Mystery Toys was the name of our toy store. The bad thing is you haven't rode Harleys all your life. The good thing is they already had starters on them when you started. Your imagination. Okay, Scott, that's pretty good, because my nickname was actually, one of my nicknames as a kid was Pebbles. So for a minute there, I thought you were someone who knew my parents back in the day. So that was pretty funny. Hello, David. Lewis, is this your first time on my channel? Welcome. But yeah, guys, it's already been like over an hour. Hi, Gregory. Yeah, actually, so I had a couple nicknames as a kid. So my parents' friends would call me Pebbles. Oh, and actually, yeah, I remember who that was now, who gave me that nickname. And my parents' friends nicknamed me Pebbles because of my hair. And then my brothers, Dusty and Sandy, because they were the two oldest kids, they gave us all nicknames, like when we got home from the hospital. And they would call me Angelo. So Angelo was like my official nickname growing up. And they all called me Angelo. And yeah, I was actually all right with that nickname, but then they transformed it into something stupid. And then Red, like people have called me Red. And to be honest, I've never actually liked being called Red. But when I started my YouTube channel, when I named my YouTube channel, I never actually, hi Kevin, I never actually thought that my YouTube channel would go anywhere. And I called it Red Rider because because I didn't really care. I wasn't thinking about having a YouTube channel. It just kind of happened. And I called it Red Rider. The name Red Rider had nothing to do with the band. But the reason I called it Red Rider was because growing up in the small town that I grew up in, there was this old native man. He was like a local drunk. He was really nice though. And he rode his bike. He was always on his 10-speed riding around Penticton. He'd ask for change sometimes here and there and whatever. He was really nice, old drunk native man. And he'd see me when I was a kid. I was riding my bicycle. I had like an old Schwinn, I still have it, banana seat with ape hanger bicycle that I would ride around everywhere. And every time he saw me, he'd be like, hey, little Red Riding Hood. So when I named my YouTube channel, I called it Red Rider. Yeah. And that's kind of how I got my name. And I never actually had the intention of calling myself Red or anything. Red Rider is a Canadian band, yeah. And they do that song. I think, like, I only know, the only song of theirs I even know of is Lunatic Fringe. But if you Google, like, if you're on YouTube and you search for my channel, like, if you search Red Rider on my channel, like, on YouTube, the band always comes up first. It is a good song. But I don't know of any other. They're like one of those one-hit wonder kind of bands or something. I don't know though. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they've got some more good songs. No, winter's already been bad, Kevin. Winter's already been been a pretty bad winter compared to what it's normally like here. It's been raining like for the last 3 weeks. I think we've only had 3 or 4 maybe days of not where it hasn't rained. I literally haven't seen the sun in weeks. It's just been so miserable here, and it's cold. If it was sunny and 3 or 4 degrees out, I'd be riding because, but I'm not going to go ride in the rain. Why? Just to for the sake of riding. If it was my only transportation, then it'd be a different story, but it's not my only transportation. I've got a little exhaust leaky death trap that I can drive around until I get that fixed. This winter that I'm speaking of. Well, apparently it gets a little chilly in Florida too, Buck. That's what I've been told. Move to Florida. Is everyone in Florida weird? I think you have not been to BC, Canada yet. Well, I mean, I think I'm the only weird one in my town. I definitely don't fit in this town. I probably should have moved somewhere a little more hillbilly, because I probably fit in a little bit better in a little hillbilly community. But, whatever. I'm not here to prove nothing. You know what, Joe? Florida, I do like being in Florida for the 2 times that I've been there. I have enjoyed my times there, and I really enjoyed being able to go for night ride. I love nighttime riding, and I actually love the nighttime riding in Florida because trip to BC, June's the best, one of the best. It's such good riding weather here in June. But yeah, night ride. Okay, Florida, I love night riding. I absolutely love summertime, going out after the sun's down or when the sun's just set or just about to set, and there's you got some good shade from the mountains on the road. But I love night riding, and the thing of Florida is that it's so lit up, and the streets are all straight. There's no traffic there at 10 at night, and everything's just so bright. It's so lit up. It's warm, and you guys don't have deer running through the city that you have to worry about. We've got freaking deer here, but running through town in the middle of the night. But yeah, I love night riding. Florida, I would have to say I enjoy the night riding in Florida almost more than I enjoy the night riding here. Evening rides here are nice because we have mountains, and you get the hot and the cold pockets because of the hills. And yeah, I would miss the mountains. If I was in Florida, even just being there for a week this last time, I would miss the mountains. I couldn't ride like that on straight roads all the time. Always just straight roads. I was getting excited for the corners. It's yes, a corner. Yes, a curve in the road. Yeah, you probably do, Buck. I need a tour around. Well, I don't know. Well, I'm just getting to know people in Florida now. But the first time I was there, I didn't know anybody. I was just I was the stranger. I was the one person that nobody knew the last time, the first time I was there. And everyone was so welcoming, but I didn't have anyone to tour around with. So I need some tour guides. I need some people who want to tour me around and just show me the nice spots of Florida. I had a little bit of a tour last time I was there, which that's what I need. I need to go tour around when I'm there. Stay a little bit longer and tour around. And Joe and wife unit offered to tour me around the next time I go there. So I had fun riding around on the back of a chopper last time, checking out different places and stuff, and I can't wait to go back. I'm really hoping I can make it in March, and I'm definitely, if it is it all within my means to do so, I will be there in March. And next time, maybe not next time, but one of these times I want to come for like 2 weeks, the week before Forgotten Angels, and then touring around with traffic. That's why night rides are the thing, except for everything's closed in Florida at like 10, it seems, or in Tampa anyway. But night rides, no traffic. That's what I like about night rides. Next time I come, though, I want to come like a week early and spend like the first week. I want to go to like the Florida Keys. Like everyone's always like, you got to go to the Keys, and I want to go look at those, the manatees. I want to go see some manatees, and I want to go like, there's this place there called like the Rainbow Swamp. I want to go check that. I want to go check out like nice places in Florida, like tropical type stuff. Maybe go pick some oranges. I don't know. Apparently you guys grow oranges there. Joe, I don't remember. Joe, honestly, I don't really remember meeting you I don't remember a lot of people that I met there in March. Oh my gosh. And that's no offense to anybody, guys. I've met so many people. I talked to so many people, like, but, yeah. Next time I'm down there, Joe and wife unit, you guys, I will take you up on your offer for some tours for you to show me your most favorite spots. Maybe you can show me your most favorite ice cream spot. Ice cream and waffle cone. Oh, I love ice cream and a waffle cone. Barber's Museum. I'll be flying to Florida. Most likely, unless I ride my Dyna down sometime. I honestly would love to load my Shovelhead up in my 4Runner and do a cross-continent trip in my old Toyota with my Shovelhead in the back and the roof off. Man, that would be fun. That would be great, actually. Camp. Just sleep beside my bike in the back. On an airboat? Yeah, I want to see me flying through the Everglades on an airboat, too. Hope I know. I probably don't know what I just asked for, Buck, but I'm into a little adventure. I'll not afraid normally. Wait, what? She didn't know that you'd obligated that she didn't know, Joe, that you'd obligated you and her into touring around a little Canadian redhead next time she comes to your corner of the world. Hello, Mr. G rides. Gregory rides. A famous singer just married an airboat forever. She's nerdy like that. Hey, I like some nerdy stuff too. I love reading, actually. I just don't have time to read all the time. Find myself reading my repair manuals. Oh, and speaking of manuals, Sandy, if you're still watching, okay, guys. So this actually kind of ticks me off, actually, quite a bit. So I've got no room for my wine right now because my bench is covered in tools. So listen to this, guys. Thanks, David Lewis. Thanks for your subscribing. What? I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Thanks for watching anyway. I can't have a wood stove in my garage because I don't have any way to ventilate anything in here. I feel like I'm missing some good stuff going on in the chat. Anyways. Yes, if you want to smash the like button, smash it. Anyways, guys. Okay, so my brother bought this manual for the 78, the Shovelhead on the bench behind me, because we only had manuals for the later Shovelhead, the last few years of the Shovelhead. So he bought this one, and I was doing up my super nut on my sprocket nut last night. Man, guys, and this is just like one of the many things that just was not going my way last night. Like, and everything I did was like, everything should have taken 5 minutes, and everything that should have took 5 minutes took an hour. Oh, Sandy, I was just mentioning, I haven't said it yet. So this manual that you bought, I was doing up my super nut. I was doing up the sprocket nut on my transmission last night. And this manual says 140 to 150 foot-pounds for that nut. So I set my torque wrench to 135 foot-pounds. And I went to do it up, and I'm just like, holy man, like, this is so tight. And then all of a sudden it was so loose. So I stripped out this freaking, where is this thing? I'm gonna get my hand dirty. This is like at least $50. This is like a $70. I was looking online last night for the nut, the seal, and a couple lock washers. Comes in a kit. It's like $70. And I freaking stripped this one out last night, doing it up to the torque specs that it said in this manual. 140 to, I didn't even do it up that tight. I had my torque wrench set to like 130. And luckily, yeah, it was a yucky feeling. It felt so yuck doing up this nut, feeling like it was tight enough, and then all of a sudden it was too loose. That's definitely a yuck feeling, especially when it's like too late to go buy a new one. Luckily, we have that. Yeah, what the heck, Harley? Luckily, we have that. Joe, what do you torque those nuts down to on the sprocket? Because that manual said 140 to 150 foot-pounds, and it stripped right out doing it up at 135 foot-pounds. And yeah, totally stripped it out. So then I was looking in this other manual that I have that's sitting under my computer right now. And this manual was beat up, whole thing. The torque spec for this one, for that sprocket nut, the thread's stripped, Tommy. Totally stripped. This one says 105 to 120 foot-pounds. So I did it up to 100 foot-pounds, because it's not a hot rod anyways. And luckily, we have that spare transmission in the cupboard, so I was able to steal the regular nut off of that. And yeah, thankfully, because the shop was closed, and I was like, I'm not freaking waiting until tomorrow to finish putting this back together. So It's on your cheat sheet at the Ride Factory. 140 sounds tight, right, Tommy? And I remember, like, when I was doing that up last time, I remember thinking, like, doing it up this time, I thought to myself for a moment, I was like, 140, 150 sounds like a lot. And it was definitely too much. So, yeah, so the compensating sprocket nut, bolt nut, yeah, compensating sprocket nut is only 60 foot-pounds to the high. Yeah, and Joe, like 135 is what I was torquing it to, but this freaking manual that is apparently printed, yeah, it's a Harley manual, said 140 to 150 foot-pounds, and I think that yeah, I think that they I think it's a misprint, actually. Yeah, way more than necessary. Wait, clutch nut is 60 to 65. Okay, because the compensating sprocket, this manual said the compensating sprocket nut was 55 to 60 foot-pounds. And, but yeah, Joe, I kind of thought that the compensating sprocket nut was supposed to be more than that. But this says compensating nut's 160. See, what in the heck is going on around here, guys, with these freaking torque specs now? I've got the whole thing together, and my compensating sprocket nut's not done up to 150 foot. Okay. Let's see. Torques. Oh, sorry. No. I'm getting confused. The clutch nut is 60 foot-pounds. Yes. Compensating sprocket nut says 80 to 100 foot-pounds right here, which I did mine up to 90. I always go in the middle point. So, compensating sprocket nut, 80 to 100 foot-pounds is what this manual says. I did mine up to 90 with a little dab of red Loctite. A dab, not half the bottle this time. And I don't know what this one actually says for that nut. Let's see what this manual says. See what kind of lies they're promoting. I don't even trust this manual now. And I tested my torque wrench too, and it works. $1954. That's okay. In 1954, Harley released their 50th anniversary band. Oh my gosh, are you lying? Are you joking? That's funny. I think that Harley was officially, yeah, I don't know. $25 inch-pounds on it. Oh my gosh, man. I don't think I've ever seen a drain plug done up to. I don't know if I've ever actually torqued a drain plug. I just do it up till it gets loose again. No, just kidding. But I want to see what this manual says for the compensating sprocket nut, because I don't trust this manual anymore. Yeah, last time I stripped something out was also on that transmission. And what was I doing up? I was doing up something, but I was using one of those electric torque wrenches, first and last time ever using using an electric torque wrench because it did not beep, and I stripped out the nut that goes inside the kicker cover. I don't remember what it was on. Anyway, I'm trying to find the torque spec for, because now I want to know what these guys say. 1.5 torque requirements. Oh yeah, I remember this one being kind of crazy. Clutch hub nut 50 to 60 foot-pounds, so that's the same as the other one. Why doesn't it tell me the compensating sprocket nut torque? Night, Lamar. Where is this section on this? Sometimes these manuals, I feel like they could be a little better organized. But who am I? Who am I to judge? Oh, the main shaft nut. Yeah, stripped that out. Counting on an electric torque wrench. And last time I used an electric torque wrench. Okay, I got clutch, so primary. The rest of the primary should be near here. Tools. You know what? Angel, what is an index for? Therefore not looking at, apparently. Big or not, I don't know. It's a James nut. It's a James super nut, so it's not like a poor quality nut or anything like that. Like, I didn't cheap out. I don't normally cheap out on those kinds of parts. Now I want to know. Why can't I find, like, anything that I'm looking for? Hello, Rooster. Weld him in and cut him off. Yep. I'm just looking for my primary. Why? Why, guys? Don't you have a section? Now I want to know even more. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, compensating sprocket nut. That manual says 80 to 100 foot-pounds. But I remember I think I remember this one saying something ridiculously high for that. Because I feel like I remember people commenting on it last time. Maybe we should Wheels Through Time does a video on that. Yeah, I don't know. Harley definitely has needed to get their crap together for a very long time. But somehow we just keep liking their BS. And I cannot find anything about the primary. It's like, okay, they've got clutch. Where would that be? Would that be crank? I don't know why that would be in the crank section. Anyway, I was pretty annoyed with that. But that's why it's always nice to have spare parts. And that's why it's always a good idea not to get rid of your spare Harley parts, because if you ride Harley, you're probably going to need those parts. Yeah, whatever. It's at 150. 140 to 150. That one I can find and prove that I'm not dyslexic. What did this... Where was I going? I don't even remember what I'm looking for now. Maybe I am dyslexic. Oh, transmission. Imperial-sized foot. Drive line section. Yeah, so I'm just trying to find the part where it talks about the primary. The sprocket nut is in the transmission part of the whole deal here, or clutch maybe. Yeah, see, look it. Okay. Right here it says install sprocket with flat side outward, blah, 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 blah. Hold sprocket as outlined in disassembly procedure and tighten nut 140 to 150 foot-pounds. Like right there. Can you guys see that right above my finger? Oh, it's so hard to read. See, I'm not crazy. I'd probably spend a week at Wheels Through Time. I'd see if they let me camp out in their thing. I'm not crazy. Well, I'm not dyslexic. I might be slightly crazy. I mean, like, I have a garage full of broken down, never-ending projects. So, not sure if that has sanity written all over it. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm more sane than most people. And if anybody knows Crazy Like a Fox, yes, foxes are cute. I actually would probably have a pet fox if they weren't little jerks. Crazy people don't know they're cray-cray. Well, they might know. But anyway, I can't find the other twerks for that. But I know that I'm not crazy when I'm actually very particular when it comes to like the work I do on stuff. I always have people telling me like all the time on my videos and stuff that they're they'll just be like, oh, you're so meticulous. I don't know if anyone's ever actually used that word, but that's kind of basically like what they're getting at. But before I do anything on anything, whether it's my trucks or my car or like my bikes or anything like that, I will like literally read the manual. I'll read that section in the manual like probably like at least 4 times before I start taking anything apart. Like, and I'll look up like videos on YouTube. I'll read stuff. Like, yeah, I'm so, hello Caribou Harley Rider. I'm so like particular about all like when it comes to like mechanical stuff and me working on stuff other than undoing the battery and almost burning houses down. I'm pretty particular about the work I do. I'm a younger, redder, cuter. So not Pacific Mike. I actually love Pacific Mike. Like the way that he does his stuff, he is really like he's like the father, the godfather of old Harleys. Like the way that he does is so informative, and yeah, it's a good time. Well, this bike has a battery disconnect switch too, which is why I didn't disconnect the battery. But if you short something out between the battery and the battery disconnect switch, your battery disconnect switch doesn't help you at all. And I realized that last night. And that was like the most epic battery short scenario that I've ever had, ever. I did that on my Dyna right after my regulator went. And I was I was undoing the battery to so I could replace my regulator, and I freaking shorted it out. Yeah, guys, I've done that. Like I've never done that before. And then like and then I've done it like 3 times in the last, like this past year. I've done that like 3 times. Oh man, I melted a wrench recently. Melted a chunk out of a wrench. And this time I melted a chunk out of my finger. And the bike tries to start. Oh my gosh, yeah. No thanks. I'm probably going to, I'm not going to say I'm going to disconnect batteries from now on because I probably won't. Like, why disconnect the battery when you're not even working near it? But apparently, Angel should always disconnect the battery. Actually, I don't, I'm just glad that I have a lift now. Because I used to work on just one of those jacks, and those floor jacks for the Harleys on the wheels, those things sketch me out. Yeah, I just have to disconnect the ground. I know. Oh my gosh, Tommy, that sounds like horrible. He had a permanent wedding ring after that, I bet. Disconnect switch on the ground. Yeah, that might be a good idea for a lazy little angel. No, normally if I'm doing stuff where I feel like, if I'm doing stuff like near the battery or like with electrical, normally I will undo the ground. But this time I was also like 3 a.m. when I was doing this last night, so thinking was not really happening in my head. The only thing I was thinking of was not having to work on this thing today. So I was just determined to get it all together last night so I could go to bed and not have to come back out here today and work on it. So the only thing left on it now is I got to put some oil in the transmission and and see if I've solved the leak. And I'm just annoyed that I don't have my super nut anymore. Because now it's probably going to leak it. Well, no, it's going to leak anyway. It's a Shovelhead. It is going to leak. But hopefully it won't leak the entire transmission out onto the shop floor anymore. I mean, not all in one night anyway. And yeah. I have a roast in the crock pot upstairs that I'm kind of excited about. Just, I didn't put anything in there except for, I don't have any vegetables. Well, I do actually have a salad. I could make a salad, but I was kind of looking forward to just eating an entire roast tonight. So I put a roast in the crock pot and just threw whatever I had in there with it. So I have an onion and garlic and a can of pizza sauce in there with it. So I'm going to see how that turns out. And I'm probably going to just sit there with my crock pot and a fork and eat half of a roast. And I'm so looking forward to that. I was being all like housewifey, even though I'm not a housewife, but the other night we had a family dinner and then I stayed up till like midnight and I made chicken soup. I was like just getting over being sick and I was just really wanting chicken soup. So I made a pot of chicken soup and I made applesauce for the first time. And bye, Rob. Okay, Rob, have a good time with your dog. Man, yeah, I remember those nights, Rob. I hope you have a good night. Yeah, so I made a pot of chicken soup. It turned out really good. And, oh, man, I just want to eat everything right now. And then I made applesauce for the first time ever, and I canned it. And actually, canning applesauce is more involved than canning most other things. So I made applesauce, and I freaking like peeled a whole bucket of apples, and I ended up with 3 little jars of applesauce. So this is like the amount of work I just put in to have 3 jars of applesauce. Felt like a ripoff, but the applesauce was so good though. And I opened a jar already because I couldn't wait any longer. It's almost been a week, so it's like it marinated in the jar for like almost a week, and it was delicious. Yeah, Joe, you're right. Sometimes you do just gotta walk away, and I normally, and you know what? That will. Like if I'm out here and I'm just having a hard time with something and nothing's going my way, which a lot of times nothing goes my way out here. Nothing goes the way that I think it is gonna go, but yeah. And then you come back the next day. It really does make all of the difference. I remember like doing my O2 sensors on my Tundra last summer, trying to go to Shovelfest for the very first time. Okay, Sandy, I was kind of thinking about that, but we'll have to see. I feel like that's overdone a little bit too. So I would maybe do like an Evel Knievel, a spin on the Evel Knievel tribute bike. That's actually kind of yeah, I do have plans for those Sportsters. Not if I actually jump it. Yeah, but I don't want to wreck my Sportster. Wait, why do you like old bikes? Oh my gosh, Tommy, that sounds ridiculous. I live on the perfect hill to jump the Sportster. Oh my gosh. Okay, if you buy me an Evel Knievel replica suit, it can't be some cheesy freaking polyester bull crap. If you buy me a legit leather Evel Knievel suit, Sandy, I will build an Evel Knievel Sportster out of one of my iron heads and maybe jump it. I would have to practice doing some jumps before that. Okay, that's the deal. So, Sandy, You gotta buy me a legit one that fits me. It can't be too big. It has to be actual, like real deal. Like as though I was Evel Knievel and the suit was made for me. And I will build the ramp because I will determine how high I'm jumping. It's up to me. It has to be an XR7. Okay, well, and then if someone else buys me an XR750 and an Evel Knievel, and Sandy buys me an Evel Knievel suit, I will build an Evel Knievel bike and jump it. Okay, that's the deal. So, 1/2-inch high ramps. It would be at least 6 inches, Tommy. Come on. Give me a little credit here. Okay, well that's the deal. Okay, if I get the bike and the suit, I will build the bike and the suit. I will build the bike and the jump, and I will do it. Oh, 9 miles. Hello and goodbye. Camera angles, yes. Camera angles could help. Editing could help. We've got some pretty crazy AI stuff these days. How many Hot Wheels schools buses? At least 10. Probably jump 10. Like which nose, like bumper to bumper lined up or side to side lined up. That all matters. Yeah, so you guys send me the bike and the suit and I will do the rest. That's the deal. Robbie Knievel? Oh, I've seen videos of it, but nose to nose. Okay, well, does it count riding over them? I feel like that would be fun. Okay, my Yamahas, I'm actually really excited to have one of these. I might jump that. I might jump one of those. I kind of want to do one up nice, like restore it, like actually restore it. And what's sounding like a new thing for me? Jumps. Doing jumps. I want to restore one of my Yamahas to be nice. And then the other one, I want to just make it rideable. And just go out and like crash and stuff. Do stupid stuff on it. Okay, well, Sandy, if someone ponies up on the XR750, you're on the hook for a suit. You're on the hook for getting me a nice Evel Knievel suit, tailor-made for Angel, real leather, white, clean. Little Ride Knievel, Lil Knievel. Ooh, that actually got a little catch to it. Lil Knievel. I broke every bone in his body. I've broken 1, 2, 3 that I know of, and I'm pretty sure I broke another 1 or 2 that I never got checked out. Angel's bouncier. Yeah. How come I ain't married? Well, if I could answer that question, I probably would be married by now. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. Maybe you guys can tell me. Maybe an outside opinion would help. How come I'm not married yet? She is married. Married to the game. What? You got a hepatitis C from blood transfusions? I should figure out what my blood type is. I'm waiting for Brian to ask me to marry him. That's why I'm not married. Yeah, I'm married to my to my 93-inch Shovelhead stroker. Yeah, that's why I'm not married yet, because I haven't jumped a Sportster wearing an Evel Knievel suit. Oh, man. That's it. Okay, so now you guys, if you guys don't buy me this suit and bike, you guys are like literally determining the fate of my life. Yeah, get a GoFundMe going. Angel Knievel's Angel Knievel's GoFundMe. It'll be like that movie Hot Rod. Has anybody seen Hot Rod? It'll be like the real life version of it. I'm a good mechanic. I know how to make applesauce. I go to church. I mean, I think I'm a pretty good catch. I'm kidding. I'm not even gonna go there. Everybody, change the subject. We're not talking about my... Hot Rod was hilarious, man. Sandy, marry a girl who will jump an expensive vintage Sportster, then you know she makes foolish life choices and will probably marry you. Yeah, go after the girl who's jumping vintage Sportsters, because then she's foolish enough to choose you. Hilarious. I know, every time my dad's trying to convince me to get more projects, and I'm like, Dad, I can't get more projects because I've got too many already. He's just like, it's your Angel, it's your dowry. Like, I've got enough of a dowry going. I think that I mean, I don't know. Maybe a dowry of projects is better than a dowry of finished motorcycles. The dowry goes to the groom. It includes a 96. I think in tradition, Chip, the dowry would have went to the groom. I think it was the bride's responsibility to present a dowry to her groom. I think that's tradition. And yeah, that's why it's always like been the bride's family that pays for the wedding. And got ripped off. Oh man. Shoot, wild card. That sounds actually sad. Like punk. Yeah, there's some really like collectible old punk vinyl. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't want to say those are the risks you take. I don't feel like that should be I feel like when people get married, nobody... Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one. It's like marriage is like you're literally making a choice that has the potential to ruin the rest of your life. So you got to just be super careful. Hello, Jason. Thanks, Van Man. Well, guys, this was just like I kind of I've been planning on actually doing this live since I got back from Florida. And now that I say that, I remember why I was planning on doing this live to begin with. And that was so that I could talk about my trip to Florida. But I'm gonna have to plan that for my next live, because this has already been like, I just started talking about bikes. I was just like so happy to be planning to put my Dyna on the lift. So so I'll have to talk about my Florida trip next time. But I would have done this a lot sooner if I wouldn't have been sick. Buck picked me up from the airport this time around because Rainey wasn't there. Rainey ditched. Rainey convinced me to fly all the way down to Florida because we were going to have a good old time, and he was going to show me all the places he never showed me last time and let me meet his wife. And then he was like, I'm not coming anymore. So Buck picked me up from the airport. It was actually had such a good time. And at first when I got there, I was thinking, like, man, it's such a small one, like, and I was kind of hoping it would have been like bigger. That's what I was thinking, like the first couple days I was there. But then by the time like Saturday came around, I was just like, man, I'm actually was really glad that it ended up being a small one again, and because it gave me just an opportunity to get to know some people that I'd met in March. It got me some time to get to know some of those people a little better, and I met some new people, and went on and had some good little adventures, and it was actually a great time, a great time, and I hope that every time I go, like, yeah, the Weems' birthday chopper ride. Hello, Terry, and thank you. The Weems' birthday chopper ride was like just all the chopper stuff, and I have to thank Ron again for like just touring me around on the back of his chopper, and yeah, yeah, it was a good time, and I think I made the owner of the Dirty Shame mad because I wasn't even being rude. I was just talking, and apparently I was being rude, but all I said was that I like the sound of a motorcycle that's not electric. And apparently that was not something I should have said. Yeah, they put me in the corner. I chose the corner. I was... Poor Richard. Okay, I can't say what I want to say, but yeah. I thought it was kind of funny. Like, I didn't have my feelings hurt, but I kind of was like, oh, that's too bad, because I kind of wanted to hang out with the owner a little bit, but I don't know. I guess I just should have congratulated him on his electric motorcycle and left it at that. Yeah. What are you guys conjuring up there, Buck and Sandy? Hello, Peter. The owner of a bar, the Shade Tree Army is a motley group. The owner of a bar getting offended. Harley. Pete. Hi, Pete. Hi, Steph, if you're there. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he got offended pretty easily, but we're yeah, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. He probably, hopefully, yeah. I don't even, you know what? It's not even a thing. Oh, hi, Steph. Nice to see you in the chat, Pete. And thanks for being here, guys. So next time I go to Florida, maybe I will. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I wish I could bring my own bike there. I wish I could bring my Shovelhead there, because I would have so much fun, like with my own bike. It's just like the thing about having a bike. Like, I don't know. I really appreciate Eric lending me his FXR, and like I appreciate the heck out of that. But having your own bike is just like, it's set up for you. Like, my Shovelhead is just built to fit me. Like, my Shovelhead is like the wooden shoe of motorcycles. It's my wooden shoe. If anybody knows anything about wooden shoes, like the Dutch wear, the wooden shoes are like made to fit your foot. Like, they're made to fit your foot like perfectly. And my Shovelhead is the wooden shoe of bikes for me. I just fit on it so good. Like, you can't. There's no bike that, like, everything about it was made to fit me. I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and you can email me pictures, Terry, if you're able to copy and paste it. Yeah, I mean, like, I like hearing my bike when it's running, you know? And I think the thing that made him mad was when I said, with a gas-powered bike, like, it only takes me 5 minutes to fill up my gas. And what do you do if your battery runs out on your electric bike? You wait 2 hours to finish doing whatever you were doing. And I think that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And then he left. And I was like, tell me about your electric bike. And he was like, no. And he left and told me never to buy an electric bike. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time. My Tommy, it's not going to be a bumper sticker. I'm just making a comparison. He was pretty dramatic run. Like, I didn't know if I was getting to that point where, because I'd had like a few beer, and then that old fashioned was just a terrible choice. But I didn't know if I'd gotten to the point where I was just too much, but I don't think I was too much. Because I wasn't even being rude, man. I was just talking. Yeah, Tommy, I think that my wooden shoe comparison is actually on point. And I've never actually worn a wooden shoe, but I used to work in a bakery, and this kid that worked, they delivered the flour. He freaking wore wooden shoes, and he swore by them. He said they were the best thing ever. They were made to fit his feet, and they fit his feet better than anything ever, and they were the most comfortable thing. And the way that he felt about his wooden shoes is how I feel about my Shovelhead. And after riding my Dyna all summer and then getting on my Shovelhead, man, I got on my Shovelhead after riding my Dyna for a couple months, and my Shovelhead, it was so great. It was actually so good, and I love that bike. Like, I love my Shovelhead. Just talking about it, I just want to go ride it, like, right now. Oh, man, I can't wait for spring. I've got to put my Dyna on the lift. After my Dyna's off the lift, my Shovelhead's going on my lift, and my Shovelhead probably has to come completely apart because it's got a lot of leaks, and I just don't want to do it, but Unfortunately, I cannot speak magic over my shovel head and just tell it to be well. I gotta actually fix it. What's the best thing about the shovel? It was made for me. That's the best thing about the shovel. Every step of the way, every single part that was fabricated on that bike was made for me. And the way that I fit, like, it was just, I was like, that was like 8. Oh, how old am I? I guess it was going together kind of like, I don't know, I guess like 8 years ago now. So my neck wasn't as screwed up back then, where now my shovel head, my neck gets kind of sore riding it because of the way I sit on it. But yeah, it was made for me. Everything about it. That bike was it took me like a year just about, or an entire summer, to find the gas tank that I wanted. And a lot of people don't like that. Like, my bike's the kind of bike you either like it or you don't. And like, there's a lot of people who just are not into that style. They don't like the copper. A lot of people have criticized my gas tank, but it took me like I knew what I wanted in my head. I had the vision. I knew what I wanted, and I'm the kind of person who, when I have an idea of what I want, then I can't. It gets really hard for me to like leave that vision and like go to something else. It's like clothes shopping. Clothes shopping is like, I don't really go clothes shopping very often because I usually know exactly what I want if I'm looking for jeans or a dress or whatever. And if I can't find that exact thing that I'm looking for when I'm shopping for clothes, I get hangry, even if I'm not hungry. And I'll just, and then I'll just go eat somewhere and go home. Because it's like, if I go into a store, I'm like, I want to be in there for like 10, 15 minutes max. Find what I want, and then leave. It's very rare that I have like, I just want to go shopping for the heck of it. Like, it doesn't happen. And I'm the same way with my bikes. I know what I want them to look like. And yeah, I'll do whatever. That's why I need to learn how to fabricate stuff so that I can build things exactly the way that it's in my head. Yeah, my shovel head's my wooden shoe. Okay, it's a good analogy, you guys. It's a good comparison. Quit making fun of me. I may be in front of you, but this bike is my wooden shoe. And everybody who read that bumper sticker who's ever worn a wooden shoe would get it. And they'd be like, man, she's got the freaking best bike. Yeah, see? Anybody who rides their bike or worn a wooden shoe. Everybody go YouTube, go Google something about someone talking about their wooden shoes. And that, well, actually maybe don't do that. Never mind. You can walk on water with a wooden shoe. I do like my bike. Okay, Tommy, you might have a point there. Okay, I don't know why you have to bring up lasagna at a time like this, because I freaking pretty much always want lasagna. And the moments when I don't want lasagna, in the back of my head, I still want lasagna. I freaking love lasagna. I used to think to myself when I was a teenager that I was going to marry into an Italian family just so I could eat Italian food all the time. And that never happened. And I'd probably be fat by now if it would have happened. But, oh my gosh. Okay, when I make lasagna, oh my gosh, I want lasagna so bad. Okay, guys, I like lasagna with spinach in it. But I'll get spinach, frozen chopped spinach, and I'll do like a lasagna and ricotta lasagna and ricotta cheese layer, and then I'll do a tomato meat layer, and then I'll do like oh man, tomato meat layer, ricotta spinach layer, tomato meat layer, and like layer it like that with the cheese and the noodles. Oh my gosh. Or sometimes I like lasagna and I'll do, instead of having meat in the lasagna, I'll just do like spinach and a ton of cheese. Well, I used to do this when my sisters were all picky about eating meat, and then just make meatballs to go on the side. Big, like massive meatballs. Yeah, the spinach in it. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, next time I have a family dinner, we're having freaking lasagna. I know, every time the chat always turns into food, guys. Tommy, good job. Thanks a lot, Tommy. Now we're all hungry. Yeah, who? Serenity Kitty. Yeah, Serenity Kitty won the. I wish I would have been videoing that moment, because that was actually, okay, Serenity Kitty, the moment when you won that bike, it was so perfect actually, because we're all sitting there and Shade Tree's doing his phone call for the winner, and you hear like the phone ringing on the stage, and everyone's silent because everyone wants to hear the phone get answered. And so everyone's silent, and then all of a sudden you hear this phone ringing behind me, and I look behind me, and freaking this guy with his neon cat ears on his head picks up his phone. He's like, hello, behind me. And then we hear it on the stage, and everyone just like freaks out. It was such a good moment. It was literally like the best moment. That was so good. Serenity Kitty, man. Did you get to take your bike home with you, or did you have to leave it there for another time? I know a lot of people do that. It was perfect. It was actually great. It was actually the best moment. It was actually one of the. There was actually a ton of good moments at this last camp out, and I'm really excited for the next one. Someone recorded the reveal of the Dark Knight. Actually, Biker Babe Beth has it on her video of the camp out. She recorded the reveal. He didn't even drop it. Your chopper, because of how tall it is with that long ass front end and no rake, is actually harder to stand up than it looked like. When I tried to stand it up the first time, it's like, this thing looks like this thing is a little heavier than it looks, but it's super tall, and I guess I'm short, so yeah. I'm kind of looking forward to riding a jockey shift, and this bike behind me, it's got a jockey shift on it, and we actually just did a little bit of, oh my gosh, I'm gonna drop something. So we had the shifter. I want to get an amber handle for that, like an amber knob of some sort for that, because I've just got like this little doorknob on there right now, and I actually, the paint on here has kind of got like some red flames showing through. So I'd actually love to have like an amber, clear, or red kind of shifter knob on that. But we had to, so we bent it. That was one thing that was kind of okay about having to take the whole primary apart, was that we were able to get to the shifter and actually bend it to fit better, because it was just really in the way. So it's not in the way anymore of my leg. And I'm going to be learning how to ride a jockey shift this spring. And I'm a little bit worried about it. But I'm only worried about it because I live amber. Okay, well, I mean, like, not amber then, but like whatever that burnt, like dark red kind of orangey kind of color. That's kind of what I was thinking about the doorknob too. It's like it's so common. But yeah, I want to get like a clear red, I don't know, like kind of dark red, like wine red, or like a wine red, like, you know, maybe like that color of red, clear kind of handle for this, for the shifter. And yeah, and then I'm gonna learn how to ride this thing, and I am a little bit, yeah, like blood red, wine red, blood red, a little bit afraid of it. But I live, like, my driveway's a hill that goes down onto a hill, and you can go up the hill, which is kind of like nice side street kind of thing. And then but then I have to try to like ride it up a hill.